Mychal. I'm a sommelier, tarot card reader, and former ballerina.
Hi, I'm Suzanne. I am a writer, an author, and a teacher.
And this is S for Stones. As always, we like to just say that this is a safe space, a place where we can just all gather together at the metaphorical table.
No judgment.
Yes, and just be able to have a place where we are sharing our own personal experiences and knowledge on these subjects. So at the very least, we hope you're entertained.
So, Mychal, what are we drinking tonight?
Well, today I'm going to go back to France. We are going to have a fun wine. So it's called Le Clos de Caillou, and it is their Le Quartz. And this is not a Chateauneuf de Pape, although they make that. They make a Cotes-du-Rhone, which is what I'm going to recommend here. And two little stories here. One, why I'm pairing this with stones.
What color is it?
Yes, thank you. It's red.
It was like lots of pretty French words. What color is it?
Red. This is red. And beyond that, so Cotes-du-Rhone is like or similar to Chateauneuf de Pape that we've had in the past. There's a lot of similar grapes to those areas, but this is the wider, larger area, so not the exact land that they was for the Pope.
Okay.
Right?
Pope adjacent.
Pope adjacent. And the quartz is meaning quartz rock. There you go. And yeah, and then we have the reason why that's in there is because the vineyard itself actually has quartz rock all on it. And even on the label, there is a picture of rocks on the label.
Okay.
It is delicious. I highly recommend it. It is a fun little personal story that I really like about this is that the country came to them and thought, hey, the quality of what's being produced here is of the same quality as you would find in Chateauneuf de Pape. That's why they wanted to go talk to them so that they can elevate, their standing there. And they literally just, I think, as it was told to me, I should put it this way, that basically they just went and they got a gun and been like,
get off our land.
Get off our land. Like, we don't care. They had the opportunity to
get fancy, and they were like, we're staying true to ourselves?
Yes, pretty much. So much integrity. Yeah.
All right. So several of our listeners might be thinking, stones. How exactly, if we're talking stones like rocks, like quartz and carnelian and lapis, how exactly is that woo?
Isn't it geology?
It is geology. How is geology woo? It's all frequency, baby. It's all frequency.
And that's really kind of what it is. All of these different stones, right, have and hold a different quality, a different frequency. I guess you could kind of see it as a natural, we as people all have our own personalities and kind of the energy that we emit naturally. Stones have the exact same quality.
Probably the entry point for most of us when it comes to woo-woo and stones is our birthstone. Depending on what month you were born and what product catalog you're looking at probably indicates what stone is going to be associated to your birthday. Yeah. But we all have those. And then there are the stones that go with the different chakras. So if you are trying to support your throat chakra, wearing turquoise. And the idea behind that in a lot of ways is the correspondences of the stone is the color of the chakra that you are supporting. So if you know you want, your heart to feel bigger and more open, this is an opportunity to get an emerald necklace. I'm just saying.
I mean, if you really want to go that way. If you don't, I don't have that kind of money to go that direction, but this is the one where we were talking about.
Okay, fine, a green shirt.
You can do a green shirt, or you can do like the rose quartz, which we were saying, right? Pink and green both can work for the heart. So rose quartz is very common.
Malachite. I'm just going to keep going down green stones. But Mychal wears stones quite often. So what are you wearing tonight, Mychal? That sounds so wrong.
Every day, yes. Every day I'm wearing stones. So I'm wearing two rings. One is a green amber, which is unusual, but a green amber. The other one I'm wearing a citrine. And then my necklace, I'm wearing a citrine. Earlier today, I was wearing a lapis lazuli bracelet in addition. But often I have go-to earrings that I wear too that I'm not wearing right now because I'm wearing earphones. So those are smoky quartz. So all of them have different qualities and things that they do.
And I am normally wearing 4 stone bracelets. So I have citrine for imagination, I have amethyst, I have red carnelian, and I have something that I can't recall right now. Oh, malachite. Yeah.
What you were just saying. Yeah, I have a lot of, so amber can be good for a lot of protection, but also can be a very healing stone, especially for women and the women's body. So that can be a good stone to wear. The citrine, you were saying for creativity, yes, but it also works really well in a business setting. So
and this is a business, baby.
Yeah, to call in, abundance in that way. And
so next we're going to build a sound booth out of citrine.
I mean, we would need money, a lot of money to make that happen, but yes.
Abundance begets abundance.
Exactly. My smoky quartz earrings, those are literally protection items and clearing stones as well, so cleansing, clearing. So lapis lazuli can help with headaches and migraines, like that's the healing quality that it has, but also can be really good for speaking, for being heard clearly.
And I'm sitting here trying to think, at least 15 turquoise necklaces.
I have a decent amount of turquoise. I don't have that much turquoise, though. That is a lot.
So A, I love accessories. B, I have blue eyes. And
Yeah.
C, I've always been about the throat chakra. So here we go.
Okay. All right. There we go. Yeah. Sometimes there's certain colors in my wardrobe that just don't look super great on me or that I just don't feel comfortable in a lot of the time. So my way of resolving that is to get jewelry in that color. So that's where I'll do a lot of stone integration that way.
Plus also the Egyptian connection to turquoise. Because out of those number of necklaces, probably quite a few of them have Egyptian motifs.
Yes, probably. I would imagine so.
So besides beautifying ourselves and shouting to the world what chakras we are trying to embody, you mentioned protection, you mentioned healing. Can you go into depth a little bit more about that? I know in the past when I was really actively working on healing certain chakras, I would do my meditations with that stone on my stomach and usually whatever that color was across my eyes in some way or on my stomach, wherever the chakra is. It gets a little tricky to lay there when you've got turquoise in your throat, but
Yeah. Well, okay. So if majority of stones you can look up and there will be some kind of healing quality to it, and it just depends on what it's in relation to. So I am always super interested whenever I'm especially drawn to a particular stone. And I'm not exactly sure why. I will then do a lookup. There's all kinds of information on the internet. So if you Google and you look up healing benefits for a certain stone, and then you'll find a number of different websites that really specialize in this, and they'll go into all the different ways that you can utilize a stone. So whether or not you want it to be used for healing, it'll tell you if it is good for certain kinds of ailments. I think I'm going to say this wrong.
Oh, I'll correct you.
I'm sure you will. Rhodonite quartz?
Rhodonite?
Rhodonite. There we go.
Help me, help me, Rhode.
But I know what it looks like, and I always remember that. And the reason why I got the stone in the first place, surprise, surprise, I had some broken bones from jiu-jitsu, and that stone is actually particularly good at healing bones and bringing it together. And it partially has to do with the way that it looks, that it has other minerals like laced through it.
The striations.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like a broken bone, or like it reminds you of that.
Law of correspondences, baby.
Oh, yeah. And another one that kind of does that too, that reminds me of bone. And so you think of structure is going to be, what's the name of it? Celestite? No.
There is a celestite.
Selenite. There we go.
And
I'm just making up
selenite.
words right now. I'm just making up words. Selenite. There we go. And it looks like if wood, petrified wood, had been just bleached. Like it looks like white. And it is a salt-based rock. So it has a huge cleansing quality to it. So I have a lot of this because not only does it help to protect and clean the energy out of my tarot cards, so I actually have sticks of this that sit in my big box of tarot cards to like help just keep them clean and clear and protected. But I will also use those stones to help clean other stones.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder if it was named after Selene, who was one of the names of the goddess of the moon.
Possibly. I imagine so. I've seen it there is a metaphysical shop where we are that had a moon room, and so they had it set there, so that would make sense.
Well, Selene, yeah.
I don't know for sure. I'm not saying, but, reasoning my way through.
Putting together bits of Latin and Greek and going, sure, makes sense.
Yeah, I can't say no for sure either, so there you go. But all of these stones are going to have both metaphysical qualities, like meaning on a spiritual level to some extent, and then also have a healing quality to them as well.
And oftentimes, back to the woo, when you look up angels, ascended masters, those kinds of people or entities, they will have a stone or a color who is associated to them. So if you want to call on the power of the angel Zadkiel, it's a peacock feather and, when I wait for it, turquoise.
I wonder why you know that, Suzanne. I wonder why.
Actually, I'm trying to remember. Am I getting that one right? So if we are wrong on all of these details, we just ask you to forgive us and blame the quartz wine.
Yes.
And the fact that it's a Pisces moon, so it's a little more flowing.
We're just kind of going with it.
Free flow. And
we were just discussing earlier how sometimes you think that you can type and spell and speak good until somebody's literally watching you. And
yeah, and then it's like, I have no fingers, I just have clumps, and they're just stabbing at the keyboard.
And then you say things like speak good, and there you go.
I just want it to be noted, I did not do any editing.
She did not, and I do want it to be known I said that on purpose to prove the point.
So other things that you can use stones for, if you are setting up an altar of some sort, it is a good place to keep your stones. You talking about how you keep your oracle cards and tarot cards in this protected little space makes me feel like mine are orphans living on the street, since they're all just
fending for their own way through the world.
Just going to have to go stack, some. I have several scarabs. Actually, one you brought me.
Oh yeah.
And just stack them around lapis and turquoise, and yeah, that'll be protective.
Yeah, the other stones that are not only protective but good to have is general. If you were I would be interested in having, and also are visually appealing to have around your home. A lot of people do have these around their home and don't even realize it, that there's an adjacent quality to them other than just visually appealing.
Right.
Regular quartz, clear quartz is the most common that you can find and is kind of covers almost majority of bases as far as protection and what it does. And it also is an enhancing stone. So if you were to use that a stone in addition to another stone and have them together, the quartz is going to amplify the other stone. It also is a protector, like I said, which that is another stone that I have with my tarot cards. Mm-hmm. Amethyst is another really popular one. It has a protection quality. It helps with the connection to the divine. It has a healing quality with it as well, and a calming quality. So especially if you have high anxiety, it can just be a good stone to have, especially in your bedroom. It can be good to have amethyst.
Which is making sense. I sometimes go to a Korean spa, and they have entire rooms that are full of the amethyst sort of geo-looking things. Mm-hmm. So you get all these stones, you use all these stones. How frequently do you need to clean them? And other than putting a quartz with them, how do you clean them? I've heard putting them out in a full moon.
So that is one way to do it. Then you're really energizing with the moon energy. So, but you have to remember, sometimes I don't even remember because I'm doing all these other things, especially around the full moon, that I'm like, oh, wait, I now need to gather up all of my rocks, which, by the way, my house is semi-littered with rocks. I try to make it look like it's...
She has plants for fairies, and then that's close to the rocks because the fairies, I guess, also play on the rocks.
Yeah, and I have some of my stones in the plants because some stones do well around plants. Like it's good for it's like symbiotic that they help each other. I have...
She needs a full checklist for the full moon.
If I put it out on the full moon, then I'm like, have I left anybody out? And inevitably I have. So, I mean, this one, I'm sure somebody's going to probably say, oh, you should do it every month or something like that. And probably a month is good. But I'd also think of the fact that some stones are naturally cleansing, that they don't really need to be cleansed, like the selenite being one of them. Others, you may want to clean them more based upon how often you're using them.
True.
That could be a thing. In general, I also will use, if you want to set your stones out into the full moon, the other purpose of putting it under the moon is not just to clean them, but to give them energy and to bring them back to life. So if they've just been sitting around...
Like charging their batteries.
Yeah, like just being kind of drained because they've just been sitting there.
Yeah, and they're natural things not in nature. If they're in your house, except your house.
And nobody's touching them. You're not interacting with them. It's just sitting in a place. Then it kind of sometimes needs a little, like it's been sleeping, like a nap. Like you need to kind of wake it up a little bit. And that can be, the full moon can be really great for that. But selenite can also be really great for that. I'm telling you this because you can, in case you don't want to wait for the full moon or you feel like you need to use it, beforehand, there are other means of doing this. There are some stones that you can clean under water is one way, so running water.
Okay.
Another way is to really kind of put bright light on it, so that's another means of cleansing. Sound is another means of cleansing, so if you have those
little symbols.
The bell symbols or Tibetan sound bowl. Those kinds of things can also cleanse the energy out. You can also put it in salt. But all these ways, take a look of what the composition of the rock is, because if you have like a salt-based...
Yeah, you might not want to...
Don't put that underwater because that's not going to...
That's going to melt.
Yeah, that's not going to work out well. And keep that in mind. But I would always say, whenever you get a stone, purchase a stone, clean it as soon as you get it, definitely. Before you kind of, as a means not only of claiming it as your own, but kind of rinsing away all the energy of everybody else that has interacted with the stone.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, I normally, if somebody else has come in contact with my stones, I will clean it again afterwards as like another... kind of thing. It's generally that you're just as a latent energy, this kind of thing. I feel like we're just gonna
take somebody's funk off of it.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing for tarot cards. As you clean these things after you use them as a means of just keeping the energy fresh and flowing and not stagnant.
And I think, dear listener, that's really what you need to keep in mind is with all of these tools, you want them to be in a flow of life and energy. So now that we brought you the love and keeping of stones, A to Z, what do we have tuned for next episode?
Well, funny you should ask because I kind of segued into it a little bit. It's going to be tarot.
Which is absolutely Mychal's wheelhouse. So stay tuned. It is going to be amazing.
We'll see you then.
All the woo.
A to Z.